in the challenge, you're supposed to create an admin user, okay?
Okay.
Even though you don't have access to an invite code, okay?
Okay.
Which is, again, the goal of the API endpoints is to allow you to create users. However, it also allows you to create an admin. But to create an admin, you need an invite code. And what we're asking you to do is try to find a way to create an admin user. That's the challenge.
And we can see the invite code is inside a secret file, and
Yes,
you don't have access to it.
Right. Let's go through the code there. Exactly.
Okay.
So the logic here says, if you're trying to create an admin, you don't have the invite code, give me a message, no invite code, no admin. Okay, very simple. And so if you're not creating an admin, then, okay, you go to the else condition, right? And in the else condition, that's a happy path, right? So what are we doing here? We take the user, okay, that we got, and we're copying into a base user, okay? Why do we even need the base user? Is because we have a basic avatar or a picture, profile picture, right? Which we put to anyone who creates a user gets that default PNG file as their profile picture. And then if the new user is admin, it goes and creates an admin. So that function doesn't do anything here, but you can assume in a real world scenario, this would actually create an admin user. And otherwise, it creates a user, okay, with that new user details, as Gabby mentioned, might be name, password, all the details that we need on the user profile. And it goes and create a user, in this case, again, empty. So what I can do, I can say, for example, my name is Itzik, right? I'm going to quote that too, okay? And then I'm going to try, so if I try that like happy path, sorry, I don't need the comma. If I try that happy path, I hit hack, it creates a user. So I'm going to get a message, right, that we successfully created a user, okay?
But not an admin.
Not an admin, right? However, if I want to trick the system, as Gabby mentioned before, maybe someone tried this, try to kind of like say, oh, actually, I want to create an admin, okay? So I'm going to say, is admin true? Itzik is an admin. I'm going to hit hack, and I'm going to get the message, no invite code, no admin. Because what happened here is I said he's admin, so it started this condition here, but I don't have the invite code. So many people try to get the invite code. Nobody succeeded. Okay, I didn't get hacks where someone succeeded the invite code because there's no vulnerability in this short code that allows you to actually read the file. So people weren't able to do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, people did recognize that there could be a vulnerability of prototype pollution, in this case, prototype poisoning even. Okay. What it means that I can probably try to manipulate and alter the prototype of the object, and based on that, trick the system to make it an admin. So let's take a closer look at this area and then show how we can solve it, right? How we can trick the system to create an admin. Like if I'm not creating an admin, okay, however, in the user, I do something that by assigning it back to a new user, I can actually cause the system to think that there is admin true. I won, right? So what do? I use the property name __proto__, which is a property name that allows me to tell the system that the prototype needs to change. Okay, I use this property name proto. I'll show that in a second, and then I assign to isAdmin true by default. So by that, what I'm saying is every user always needs to have isAdmin, and the default value is true. Okay. However, if I do it to the user object, nothing happens because I just deserialized it from JSON, and it just parses it as a prototype named _proto, nothing more, right? If I want it to be active, actually this assign really helps me, because what it does, it actually reads the proto and says, oh, I need to change the prototype to actually include isAdmin true in my object. And once it does that, the prototype pollution, in this case poisoning, because it's a single object, is active. Okay. So what ends up happening here?
Can you show this?
Yeah. If I send something like this, okay. If I say Itzik, but I say __proto, okay. And here I say, here's the prototype that I want to assign. Is admin, okay, is true by default, okay? So again, let's take a look at what ends up happening. So here it is, okay? We're assigning the user. In this assign statement, what ends up happening, the new user accepts the change of the prototype. And then, even though we're not getting into this condition, because we're not even asking for an admin, right? We're asking for a user right now. Then we go to the else. However, okay, however, once we assign it, is admin equals true, because the prototype has changed. So this condition will happen. Let's see it happening. Okay, so if I hit hack here, okay, I can add myself to the leaderboard because I won the flag. And why did I want to win the flag? Because the system returned a message that I successfully created an admin. The main takeaways are three, okay? First of all, the most obvious, everybody's talking about it, sanitize, right? Don't take the input and just use it. Always think what the input, what do I need from the input? What is the bare minimum? Always take the bare minimum. In this case as well, the recommendation here, if we're taking an object from the input, copy from the object to a fresh object, okay? And only use it. So copy only the keys that are relevant to your application and you know that you need. All the rest, no. Because even without pollution, if they start adding some properties that could change the logic without even polluting anything, right? It is going to cause harm and vulnerabilities. So always take only what you need and make sure that you're not taking anything redundant, okay? Then the second one is avoid loose logic. In this case, the flow of the app was particularly dangerous. Why? Because it wasn't crisp, clear, and well separated. And this goes to another point that is actually a best practice for developers without even security, right? In general, you create a clear code that is very readable. Some developers find it very attractive to create short code that is tricky and does everything in one line, right?
Yeah.
The risks with doing that is that multiple cases are lumped together in one piece, in one package. And some areas you can't think about. We're not all geniuses, right? We can't think of all the scenarios that could happen at once. But if we make the code very clear, it's very easy for us to understand and for anyone else who's reading the code to understand the flow and to create separation between what needs to happen in each and every case.
Okay.
The last one is not as important, but also important. I think it's also a best practice for developers anyway. But there was a side effect in this vulnerability. What ended up happening because of the bug that we swapped the arguments of object assign, but also had base user be a const globally, right? What ended up happening, if someone polluted it, it remained polluted until I restart the app. So it's not only that someone polluted it once or poisoned it once, it actually remained polluted for the lifetime of the app until I restarted it. So to avoid that phenomenon, what we would always try to do and pursue doing is keep the variables and constant always localized to the lower level we can, the lowest level we can. So in this case, again, if I'm looking at the logic of the app, and I might have other logics that would say something differently, but when I'm looking at this piece of code, the correct location for base user would be not as a const even, but as a variable or let within the scope of the creation of the user. If you do that, at least if someone pollutes it, it's not polluting the entire app forever until it restarts.